Hi there! In this video we will cover a very important topic of this course. It's Pinterest SEO, or search engine optimization. Why do you even apply the term search engine to Pinterest? Isn't it a social media platform? Well, yes and no. Pinterest is something in between, and actually in the last few years it's been clearly moving into search engine direction more and more. Let's think about how we use Facebook, Pinterest and Google. So when you come to Facebook, you usually scroll down the feed to see some more posts from your friends or pages you follow. You're just consuming whatever the feed offers you. And I cannot imagine anyone going to Facebook search box and trying to find anything specific like how to grow a lemon tree in a pot, for example. When users come to Pinterest, they might also consume some content from the smart feed, but a lot of times they come with an intent and a question. They're looking for information just like they're looking for information on Google. The difference is that Pinterest will offer them visual information. And another kind of difference is that Pinterest is younger, and I would say not so smart engine as Google yet. But it is based on search queries and on users' interests, just like Google. Many bloggers feel that SEO is so difficult to understand and implement, but I can assure you that since Pinterest is still learning, it's actually quite easy to get traffic from it using the basic SEO principles. And you don't need to write 4,000 word posts to compete on Pinterest. I'll tell you in this course what is it that you need to do, but it's not that difficult as Google SEO, trust me. And you can see the results very fast compared to Google. So SEO has not always been a hot topic in regards to Pinterest. It became in 2014 when Pinterest introduced the smart feed. So what was important before the smart feed on Pinterest? It was fresh content and the number of followers. And what became more important with the introduction of the smart feed? It's not how fresh the pin is, but how good and how popular it is. Pinterest has been actually very open about the way they built the smart feed. At the time when they introduced the smart feed, they even published a post in their Pinterest engineering blog on Medium. And here is how the scheme looks from that post. You can read the post fully. If you're interested, I'll give you the link to it in your workbooks for this video. As you see, pins used to be seen in real time. However, it's not the case anymore. Pins are shown as best first rather than newest first. And Pinterest Smart Feed is responsible for prioritizing and ranking pins based on their quality, with quality being determined by Pinterest's algorithm. So these are the three different content pools from which Pinterest takes pins to show you in your home feed. So these pools include repins from the users you're following, the related pins, and the pins from your interests. So these are the sources of the pins. But how does Smart Feed decide which pins will go higher? I promise to give you an answer to this fundamental Pinterest SEO question in the next video. Keep watching. Before we move forward talking about Pinterest SEO, I wanted to give you another link to an official Pinterest for Business Accounts page. Just by reading this page, you can get some ideas on what Pinterest likes and how you can make your pins more visible. So this is the link, and I will give you this link in your workbooks. And I encourage you to read this post carefully and trust, because this is an official Pinterest statement regarding SEO on their platform. They're talking here about pin descriptions, and they say that optimizing your pin descriptions can have a dramatic effect on Pinterest search impressions. Obviously, they mean here using keywords in your descriptions. Again, a dramatic effect on Pinterest search impressions. Cool. Let's talk about the next point. They also talk about encouraging pinners to engage with your pins and eventually visit your site. I think it's quite clear that the engagement score and how many clicks you get from a pin has a very strong influence on how often Pinterest will show your pin. Another thing I wanted to focus on is in this post is that Pinterest doesn't want to see keyword-stuffed descriptions. They want your descriptions to be user-friendly, even if you include keywords, it has to be still user-friendly. Pinterest warns you that pins with keyword stuffing may be demoted in search. I think it's a serious warning. I'm sure you could argue with me here because you've seen many pins in Pinterest search results which are clearly keyword stuffed. Yes, it's true that currently Pinterest shows such pins quite often and quite high in search results. I see them myself very often, but we also know that Pinterest is still learning and evolving. We never know when they release a next generation algorithm and start penalizing your pins with keyword stuffing. This might happen at any moment, and I want you to be aware of this. I usually write about 70% of my pin descriptions as a user-friendly text, and I try to include as many keywords as possible in this user-friendly text. If some keywords are still missing and they're very hard to include in a normal text, in the end of this text I might add this keyword separated by a comma, and then I will follow with some hashtags, also keyworded hashtags. By the way, about hashtags, Pinterest allows using them since 2017, with a maximum number of hashtags per pin it's limited to 20. This is the official limit. I don't add more than 6 hashtags though per pin. I just want to be safe. Another interesting point in this post is about pinning daily. Pinterest says pin daily to maintain a healthy stream of content, but be careful not to overwhelm your followers with too much content at once. So they say you want pinners to engage and interact with your pins on a daily basis. Let me just translate this to our simple language. So I'm trying to read between the lines here. Imagine you have a session of 2 hours pinning non-stop 1 time a week. Some bloggers do this. They think that it's better this way. It's better for them to organize their time this way. 1 time a week on Saturday, imagine they have time and they just sit and pin for 2 hours. What happens? You just push too many pins simultaneously. And not many users will have a chance to engage with your pins during these 2 hours. Overall, this will drag down your account's engagement scores, and Pinterest will consider your account quality as low. Now let's talk about 4 factors which are known to influence your traffic from Pinterest, and this is for sure that these 4 factors work. The first one is pin quality. So pin quality includes such factors as close-ups, repins, tried, and the quality of image itself. It has to be a vertical image that stands out and gets a lot of attention and a lot of clicks. I recommend you to watch carefully the video I made on how to create engaging pins in Canva. It will really help you create viral pins in the future. Some of you don't even know, when I mentioned here this tried it, don't even know what it means. Maybe you've noticed some comments on Pinterest, but tried it, I doubt. So I open a pin and I see here many comments and tried it photos. This happens usually with every popular pin. You will notice it's a pattern. If a pin is popular, if it shows up high in search results, most probably it has a lot of comments and tried it photos. By the way, it doesn't matter if these comments and photos include some spammy links. Pinterest doesn't penalize you for this as a pin owner. It just counts everything as engagement. So whether it's spam or not, it's still good for you, for your pin. Let's take a look at some of my own pins. This one I don't consider a successful pin. You see, it has appeared 359 times on Pinterest, but it's very low for the number of times it was saved, 105 times, and it had 222 close-ups and only 9 clicks to the site from this pin. Do you remember I mentioned that engagement, in particular how many people go to your site from the pin, matters a lot for Pinterest. If they see that people are not clicking on your pin, the algorithm decides that this pin is not interesting and users don't like it. So the pin doesn't appear on Pinterest as often as it could, and basically the pin doesn't take off. To show you the difference, let's look at another pin. You can see that it appeared 2,630 times on Pinterest and it was saved 89 times. Okay, just to remind you, that one was saved 105 times, so it was higher, the saved numbers. What I notice interesting here is the correlation between the saves and clicks to the site for this pin. So it was 89 saves and 75 clicks. So much better compared to the other pin, which had only 9 clicks after 105 saves. So we talked about pin quality. The next point is your website quality. Pinterest can see how popular pins from your websites are, and it learns with time, it learns whether your site is a source of high quality content or not. So we already talked about having a business account, verifying your site, and enabling rich pins. If you haven't done that, then basically Pinterest will never know and will probably not collect any information about your website quality. So you really want to have rich pins enabled to send all of this information from your site to Pinterest. Obviously, Pinterest is tracking all the data about all your pins and makes some conclusions based on this aggregate data. The algorithm understands with time whether your site has high quality content or not. And I believe that Pinterest learns a lot about your site quality from the number of pins created by users directly from your web pages. I mean, when a user is reading a post, likes some image, and wants to save it to a Pinterest board directly from your site. That's what really demonstrates that people like your content and they approve it highly enough to share it on a platform where many other users may see what they have saved. Roundup posts work wonders specifically for this reason. Pinterest makes your pins viral when users create many pins directly from your page. I'll speak about this in detail in the video about viral pins. And I have to be honest, it's one of the keys to your Pinterest success. So in every possible way, you have to ask users to save pins from your site. That's what I do in the end of every post. I have a beautiful pinnable image, and in text, I say, if you like this content, maybe you want to check it later, maybe if it's a recipe, maybe you want to try to make this recipe later. So I encourage users to save it. I even give them a hint to which Pinterest boards they should save it, because when I'm giving them this hint, I'm suggesting the name of the board, because it is important from the SEO point of view that people save my pins to relevant boards. For some users it doesn't matter, but if I give them a hint like that, maybe they will use it. And if they use it, it's really good for me. All right. So the next point was your account quality. Remember when I showed you Pinterest recommendations to business account owners? So don't forget that post, it's really important. And they were speaking about keeping the content fresh. They talked about pinning daily to maintain a healthy stream of content, but being careful not to overwhelm your followers with too much content at once. So I have to remind you that if you pin too much content at once, it will drag down your engagement scores, and this will be reflected in your account quality for Pinterest. So it's engagement scores of your pins. What also matters here is how many boards you have, whether these boards are keyworded or not, and whether they have pins with high engagement scores sitting on those boards. Then another thing is consistent pinning. You need to pin every day, throughout the day. If you cannot pin on some days, you might want to use schedulers. And you need to try to do everything that an ordinary Pinterest user does. I wanted to really emphasize this. It's not only pinning that you have to do on Pinterest. Because when you're just pinning, you're working there as a Pinterest marketer. You're not working as an ordinary user. You need to repin the content of other people. You need to do some search on Pinterest from time to time. Yeah, just put on a keyword and just do some search. You need to comment on some pins, and you need to engage with pins from time to time. You can leave a like. You can scroll down the Pinterest Smart Feed and repin something from the Smart Feed. You can check the notifications that Pinterest sends you and engage with those notifications and see what they suggest you to do. You can try to find popular pins to add them to your relevant boards. Here I want to send you to the secret bonus number 1, and you can see how you can know for sure which pins are popular. Then you can go to explore trends and repins from there from time to time as well. Okay, the last point was the relevance of your boards and pin descriptions. But I'll talk about it in the next video because it's a long story and it's too important to mix it up with the previously discussed factors. So let's move on and let's watch the next video. Relevance of your boards and pin descriptions. That's what I promised you to talk about in the next video. But these are just a cherry on the cake. You have to learn so much more about Pinterest SEO before we talk about adding keywords to your boards and pin descriptions. I'd like to start with some theoretical and fundamental things which are often ignored in any free Pinterest tips shared on the internet. If you don't understand the science behind Pinterest SEO, you will only know how to repeat certain methods suggested by other people, but you will not be able to feel or foresee the possible changes in Pinterest's algorithm. And you will inevitably miss some important changes when they come up, and you will keep doing some things wrong when Pinterest already moved on to another algorithm release. If you know something about SEO, you probably understand that the only way for a search engine to find out what your content is about is by reading your text and keywords. If it's about analyzing your images, Google reads the alt tag and keywords that are added to those image textual descriptions. So just like Google, Pinterest checks your image descriptions and pins appear in search depending on the keywords added to the image descriptions. I wanted to show you a post on the Pinterest Engineering official blog where they explain how they're assigning interests to pins. You will find the link to this post in your workbooks as usual. You probably noticed that I pay a lot of attention to Pinterest's official information regarding SEO, and I don't even need any additional experts' opinions to understand what Pinterest wants me to do to get more traffic. So I read this post carefully and found particularly interesting this paragraph. For each pin, we collect the following text with its source. Text is an important feature in the machine learned classifier, and then they show you which exact sources of information they collect for every pin. First thing is title and description of the pin. Then it's the link text, which is the text of your post URL. here we go. I knew that Google likes when keywords appear in the page URL, and now we know that Pinterest likes it as well. Then it's the board name, which is also important. We can make a conclusion that pinning to relevant boards which are keyworded according to what your pin is targeting is important for your pin's success. We may also suppose, based on this, that group boards which don't have any particular topic, such as best pins of the day, for example, to which anyone can pin about everything, they hardly help your pins to take off because they are not keyworded, the board descriptions. Then Pinterest mentions here link alt text, image caption. You probably don't recall what is this image caption, so let me show you where it is in WordPress. Also, they analyze page title. It should be in your H1 tag. It's the post title you show to users, and it can be different from your SEO title. In this case, they call it the page meta title. Page title and descriptions are defined in Yoast SEO plugin. They also appear on Pinterest with your pin. Let me show you the anatomy of a rich pin on a screenshot. Here is the page title. SEO title goes here. This is your SEO description, also defined in Yoast SEO plugin. And here is your pin description itself. Where does this pin description come from if a user is saving it from your site? I know that many bloggers have issues with these pin descriptions in particular because Pinterest doesn't fetch the descriptions which they want to be shown when a user is saving something from the site. So yes, having a predefined keyword optimized description is great because when a user saves a pin from your site, most probably a user doesn't bother adding any keywords. But they also don't bother deleting your descriptions if you predefine them, right? So if you have a great description attached to your image, it helps your pin get viral with every new pin saved from your post. Can you control this pin description? Almost 100%. Not 100%, but almost in 100% cases you can. There are several ways to do so, and I'll speak about it in detail in the next video. That other video that you probably are waiting for, it will be full of practice. You really need to start applying your Pinterest SEO knowledge to pin descriptions, boards, profile names, etc. But before we start optimizing your Pinterest account, you first need to learn how you can do your Pinterest keyword research, right? So let's talk about this. When it comes to optimizing your pins for SEO, you may be wondering whether there is a good Pinterest keywords research tool you can use. Actually, the best way to do keyword research on Pinterest is Pinterest itself. So let me show you how I do it. When you're typing in a search query on Pinterest, you'll notice that it auto-suggests keywords for you. It's done in a similar way on Google, right? These suggestions are popular search phrases. If you want to narrow down the search query, just click on one of the suggestions and you will see additional keywords. These keywords are ordered based on their popularity descending from the left to the right side. And they can give you great ideas for your future posts, by the way. If you need to reorder some keywords in a phrase to make it sound natural, you should definitely do it if you're using it for your post title. For example, in this case, you wouldn't call your post vegan recipes dinner, right? You would make it vegan dinner recipes. Unfortunately, you can't see the exact number of searches for keywords on Pinterest, but just recently Pinterest started showing very approximate keyword volumes in advertising accounts. You don't need to pay for ads, don't worry. If you want to use ads account, you just need to have a business account on Pinterest, and then you need to start creating a campaign. It doesn't mean that you have to actually start running a campaign. You just set up some daily limit, whatever number it is, and you're required to give a name to your campaign. Okay? As soon as it's open, you don't need to fill in anything else. You just need to move straight to Keyword Suggestion tool. In here, add the main keyword you are looking for. In this tool, in our case it's vegan, and this tool will suggest additional keywords that are popular on Pinterest. As you see, it's not a very accurate tool, and you can notice that Pinterest shows that for most of the keywords it's over 1 million monthly search volume. They don't specify if some keywords have over 2 millions or maybe over 10 millions search volume. We don't know that. Maybe they will show this in the future, hopefully. It would be really nice. But even if it's as it is now, it's quite useful, as you can see a lot more keyword suggestions. Some of them will not even show among the first 15 suggestions on Pinterest search tool, which we just checked earlier. But here you can see that they're quite popular. They have over 1 million search volume, so you can use them as well as your post titles. If you're trying to understand more generic niches which are popular on Pinterest, you can look at Pinterest categories and drill down into topics to see how many people have indicated that they're interested in this topic. This will give you an idea of how popular any given niche on Pinterest is. Let me just show you a couple of niches for you to understand what works for Pinterest audience better. Check out first travel, and I will niche down to family travel. So we see here is 135,000 followers. Now let's get back to categories and narrow down to health and fitness niche, and then to fitness. It actually surprised me to see the difference between these numbers of followers in these two categories. So fitness has over 37 million followers that are interested in fitness on Pinterest. Now you know why vlogs covering this niche get lots of traffic from Pinterest. Alright, in theory you know a lot about keywords on Pinterest now, but you still need to know what to do with them and where to add them, right? And I'll cover that in the next video. Keep watching! Now we are finally moving to practice. Let's apply everything that we learned about keywords on Pinterest to your account. And we need to start with your Pinterest profile. There are 3 places you can add keywords to optimize your profile. It's your username, your business name, and the About You field, which allows you up to 160 characters. Pinterest gives you plenty of space in the business name field to add keywords, so you need to add keywords right after your business name to show people what you do. Let's make a quick search on Pinterest with the filter People to see how keywords help some accounts show high for relevant keywords. I'll search for the keyword blogging for beginners. Here you can see the first blogger who shows up. She has this exact keyword in her business name. The same applies to other profiles, including mine. Next step is your Pinterest boards optimization. If you want your boards to be found in the search, you need to optimize them with keywords in a smart way. You need to add keywords both in the titles and in the descriptions of the boards. It's actually quite easy to get carried away when you're naming your Pinterest boards. Unfortunately, cute board names like Amazing Yummies are probably never going to show up in search. You also need to add keywords to the description of your board. Don't leave it blank. You've got 500 characters to spend on your best keywords. You need to include as many keywords into user-friendly description text as possible. You can start with some user-friendly text, and if your fantasy doesn't work anymore, then you can add some keywords separated by commas. But be careful with keyword stuffing, because as of March 2018, Pinterest doesn't penalize the owners of boards with keyword stuffing in the descriptions, but we never know when Pinterest moves to the next step in their fight against spam on the platform and starts penalizing for keyword stuffing on board descriptions. Historically, there was a point when keyword stuffing worked fine even on Google, but now it's impossible to imagine any website which is keyword stuffed to get anywhere high in Google search results. So I suppose that Pinterest will get to that point as well sooner or later. Also, make sure to categorize your boards correctly. If you're pinning some blogging-related content to a board that's categorized as food, you're sending conflicting messages to the Pinterest algorithm, and eventually neither your pin nor your board will end up doing well because of this. I also wanted to talk about board sections. They were rolled out on Pinterest in September 2017, and it looks like they're here to stay. Basically, board sections are like boards within boards. Here are some suggestions on how you could use them. You could use them to showcase the best pins in different categories, or if you have some recipe boards, you can use board sections to sort them by meal type or by the location of the cuisine. So don't forget to include some keywords in these board sections, even if they are not included in Pinterest search right now. In the future, probably they will be. Otherwise, why would Pinterest even introduce them? I promised you that in this video you will have some practice, so here is your first homework for this course. You can find it written in your workbooks as well. The first task will be to check your profile. Is it optimized for some keywords? If your blog has a clear focus on some topic, this task will be easy. You just need to think of the most popular keywords in your niche and add them to your business name. If your site doesn't have any specific niche, then try to think of about 3 to 5 main topics you're going to cover. If it's a lifestyle blog, then possibly you might think of some more specific niches like fashion, beauty, or health and fitness. So choose at least some topics and add them to your business name in the profile to include at least some popular keywords which might appear in your future pins. If you already know which topics you're going to work on to generate Pinterest traffic, that's great. Now you need to make a list of the 5 popular keywords reflecting these topics and create 5 new boards including these keywords. To complete this task, make sure to naturally include at least 2 keywords to the titles of your boards and at least 5 keywords to the descriptions of these new boards. If you don't have time right now to start adding popular relevant pins to these new boards, you can make them secret for now so that empty boards do not show up to the public. We reached the step of optimizing your best pin descriptions. It's a whole new topic, so check it out in the next video. Now let's move to the step 3 in your Pinterest SEO strategy. It's optimization of pin descriptions. Now I have to mention that by the end of 2017, Pinterest stopped showing pin descriptions in search results and in the Smart Feed. What we are seeing for the majority of pins right now are pin titles. See, I'm looking at the search results for how to start a blog keyword, and one of the titles we're looking at is the simple plan on how to start a blog in 2019. So you might be thinking that you're looking at a pin description, but no, it is the post title over here. See, I just opened the pin and that's the post title. But if users are not seeing our pin descriptions, does it mean that we should leave them blank? Well, we shouldn't, because Pinterest algorithm works with pin descriptions to rank our pins. So we have up to 500 characters per pin description. So it's plenty of space to include many keyword variations. And when a user saves a pin from your website, Pinterest can automatically fetch pin descriptions from different places. Here are the places where Pinterest can fetch pin descriptions from. First, and the official recommended place for pin descriptions is data pin description attribute, which is added to the image as a code. I will give you a more detailed instruction on this in the next slide. And now I just wanted to talk about the other way, which was used quite often, but until recently. And I don't recommend it, didn't recommend it, I don't recommend it, especially now. It's alt tag, using alt tag for your as your pin description. So people use this way because it worked. Pinterest used to fetch pin descriptions automatically from alt tags. Pinterest used to do this when data pin description attribute, the one that that is recommended, when it wasn't defined by the website owner. However, the alt tag method is not recommended for two reasons. The first reason, it always was the same, because alt tag is used for Google SEO, and Google does not want to see long text descriptions for images. And for sure, Google does not like hashtags in alt tags. So how are you going to write competitive Pinterest pin description for Pinterest if you cannot use hashtags, right? And the second reason, it appeared just recently because Pinterest stopped fetching pin descriptions from alt tags. It happened around March 2019. So instead, Pinterest widget button is now fetching post SEO title and offers it as a pin description to any user who's trying to save a pin from your site. Another thing I wanted to talk in this video about is the recommended social sharing plugins, because I used to recommend Social Warfare plugin for about a year or so, because it allowed you adding a pin image and a pin description with hashtags. So you could define which image you want to be used if any user is saving an image from your web page. But this plugin had way too many issues in the last year. And so I personally migrated my social sharing buttons to Social Pug plugin. The transformation was smooth. Social Pug has a premium version for $30 per year for one site at the moment. So while the transfer from social warfare to Social Pug can be done with saving your social accounts from the previous plugin, but it has to be used only with the premium version of the Social Pug plugin. Now, I also wanted to mention here that Social Pug even doesn't have an affiliate program at this time, so I don't have any special links, unfortunately, to give you even as a partner of this plugin. I wish I could give you some discount like I do with other partners, but I'm just letting you know what's the best recommended plugin in to replace Social Warfare on the market right now. And you can just Google Social Pug, and you will find a plugin really fast, and it has all the instructions how to install it and how to make the transition from Social Warfare if you've been using it before. Now, getting back to data pin description code. I personally just add this code into my HTML code, and I know that you already feel overwhelmed when I just say the HTML code, but let me just show you quickly how you can do it. This is not some kind of hacker trick. This is an officially recommended piece of code. You can find it on this Pinterest for Business page, and you will find the link under the video as usual, so you can read it for yourself and confirm that this is officially recommended piece of code, which you can add at the end of every image link. You just need to add this code right after the image link. And here is my pin description. I wrote it in advance, and now I just want it to be attached to my pin image. Let me show you one of my blog posts and how I'm gonna do it there. I'm looking right now at one of my blog posts, and at the end of the blog post I have a pin, an image. If I click to save any image from using this Pinterest browser extension, these are the pin descriptions which Pinterest suggests. As you can see, this is exactly the post title over here. So this is what Pinterest right now is suggesting for every image you have on your site if you haven't defined data pin description. The same would obviously happen if any user tries to save pin from the site, either using Pinterest widget button in the browser or using Pinterest application on their phone. So I want Pinterest to fetch a longer Pinterest optimized description. And what do? I will go to my site and admin panel. Let's include here the pin description. So here we go, data pin description. Here are all my hashtags. Again, just take a look. Here is the alt tag. It's very short, just for Google. And I'm going to save this now. Update. I will update the blog post again. And let's see which pin description we're going to fetch now. Exactly. So this image, since now it has this data pin description, it already gives me the correct pin description. And all the others, which I didn't edit yet, they are not giving the correct pin description. It's not that much time as it looks like when you just have this data pin description thing in front of you. You just have, you just need to write the text itself and just insert all of this code after your image link. And one more thing, if you're looking at an easier way to update your data pin descriptions for many images on your site, if you don't want to mess up with your code, or you're worried, or you think it's too much manual work, well, there is a way you could do it a little bit faster with a plugin which works in a similar way to Yoast SEO plugin. It's called Tasty Pins. And if you just Google it again, you will find it. It costs $30 per year. And what it does, it just adds this Pinterest text special window into your image details. Using this plugin, you can add alternative text, which is alt text, and you can add Pinterest text. And all of this will be done in this simple window. So either if it's easier for you to do it this way, you can pay a little bit extra per year, and you will get it done a little bit faster. I wouldn't say that it's much faster because you still have to write the pin description, open an image, and edit the Pinterest text for this image. But on the other hand, for people who don't like to mess up with code, maybe it is easier. It's totally up to you. I'm personally going to use this manual way for now, and so I don't want my pin descriptions to disappear one day just because the plugin stopped working, or I forgot to update it, or whatever other reason could happen. So another thing you can do with your keywords is to use them in your blog post title and meta description. Both are defined in Yoast SEO plugin. So using keywords here will transfer you in from your keywords to Pinterest directly if you're using enabled rich pins. What I really love about Pinterest is that if some of your titles or descriptions didn't work well, you realize it later, you can easily update them and add other keywords in the post itself, and Pinterest will automatically apply these new titles and descriptions to all of your old posts which send users to this particular post. The next step is making relevant image choices. So one of the changes that Pinterest made in 2017 was the introduction of Lens. It's a visual search function that allows you to take a photo of a product, and Pinterest then returns pins that it thinks that they're a match to your photo. But what does it mean for you? Pinterest can see your images and is making associations with other similar images based on their graphical content. How does it work? You can click on this little button on the right top corner of any pin, and you will see which images Pinterest considers similar based on their graphical content. So what conclusion we can make here? Well, to summarize it is that if you're writing a post on blogging, for example, you don't want to use their a roasted chicken image as a background. And if you think that it's just a joke, no. I've seen, maybe not a chicken, but I've seen blogging posts that have a background of a fruit or strawberry. Not many people take this final step and take the time to keyword their image names, but it's actually very easy and doesn't take much time and makes it easier for yourself, and it works well also for Google search optimization. So rather than allowing your image to have some random letters and numbers as a name, you can change it to something meaningful with keywords in it. For example, you could call it chocolate cake dessert. So you included all the keywords that you need. And the last step is your optimization of your hashtags. So as you know, that hashtags were introduced back to Pinterest as an approved practice again in 2017. Yeah, many changes happened in 2017. So make sure you're choosing hashtags which are relevant and specific to your content. And when you're saving a pin, if you type the hash sign and start entering the potential hashtag keyword, Pinterest will show you a drop-down list with a number of pins associated with each hashtag. One thing that many bloggers don't realize about hashtags is that in hashtag search results, Pinterest shows only the newest pins first. This means that hashtags can only improve visibility of the most recent pins. So basically there is no any point in updating your old pins and adding hashtags to them. Those pins will not show up in the Pinterest hashtag search results since they're old. I personally don't give a high priority to hashtags in my pin descriptions. If you have to choose how to better use your 500 characters in the pin description, give more space to keywords without hashtags. It's my recommendation. And remember that even though Pinterest allows a maximum of 20 hashtags per pin, it's better to be safe and limit it to 5 or maybe 6 hashtags per pin. Well, I know that this video was very rich in information, and if you need to watch some parts again, it's totally okay. That's the beauty of an online video course. You will never miss any detail, and you can watch the recording again when you need to confirm something. And your homework for this lesson is to find 3 pins which you created some time ago. It can be 1 year ago or maybe a few months ago, which didn't take off and it doesn't seem to bring you good traffic. You might think about some other keywords for those pins close to the ones that you already used in the pin, but still different, slightly different keywords. And then create a new pin from your post. The image can be exactly the same if you wish, if you think that it's a good image. If you don't think, it's better maybe to update the image as well. So add new keywords and make your pin descriptions as long as possible. As you remember, you have up to 500 characters. Also include 3 to 5 hashtags if you didn't have them in the old pin. And if you're starting and maybe you don't have any old underperforming pins, then apply the same task to some 3 new pins. Don't forget that when you're saving these new pins, the boards to which you're saving them need to include some of the keywords, right? You're targeting in your pins. We're talking about the relevance of the boards. You can drop a link to one of your new pins in our Facebook community and ask others to give you some ideas on how you could improve the pin. I'll be there as well to give you my suggestions. And I'll see you in the next video. Now let's get to practice. I wanted to show you a real example of one of my posts and the pin which I created for it, so you can see everything step by step, from getting the idea of which keywords can possibly work well, to finding related keywords, creating the title and description for the post, and the description for the pin itself. I'll show you my flow of thoughts, why I chose this specific topic for a post, how I thought in advance about monetization and about the potential traffic I can get with this keyword. So here is the post, and the topic I cover in it is work from home jobs. First, how I came up with the idea that this topic can be popular. I read many income reports from other bloggers, and I noticed that many of them have affiliate offers from survey companies and online jobs, which give great commissions to these bloggers. So I thought, all right, they make money with it. Why wouldn't I also explore this opportunity? Then I checked in which posts the bloggers advertise these offers. So they're mostly about work from home jobs, about online jobs, about the ways to make money online. So these are basically the keywords I'm telling you. And I saw that some bloggers have over 10,000, maybe even 20,000 repins on some of these posts. So it seems to me like the topic has a great potential to generate traffic from Pinterest. Then I go ahead and I search for the keyword which I want to target. I search on Pinterest first of all. And so I'm looking for work from home. And here Pinterest shows me some additional keyword combinations. So from left to right, the most popular ones should be legitimate work from home, data entry work from home jobs. All right, so these are the keywords I want to use in my post's title, description, in the pin's description. Now I will scroll down to the search results that are shown below on Pinterest, because I know that Pinterest sometimes shows me additional keyword suggestions, and here we go. We can see here make money from home, work at home jobs, side hustle, saving money. So these could be additional ideas for keywords to use in the future posts, but I also can use them in the descriptions of the pin or in the SEO description of the post, since I want to explore this topic and cover more keywords, and I want to give a potential for my pin to be found for different keywords. Now, when I scroll down the search results on my computer, I cannot see the repin counts for these pins. But if you check the Pinterest secret number 1, which I shared with you in the bonus section of this course, you will be able to see something like this, like what I'm showing you now. So these are the pins which have the highest repin counts, and they appear high in search results on Pinterest. The number of repins can show you approximately how much traffic these bloggers received from Pinterest. You can look at the pins to see which ones work the best. You can also click through to the blog posts to see how these bloggers are making money from this content. Is it through ads, or maybe they're using some affiliate offers, or maybe they're selling their own products around these keywords? You will easily notice, if it's affiliate links, you will easily notice that bloggers try to attract more attention to some of the offers. So that could be because these offers are paid better. So you can try and make a research on how you can apply for these affiliate offers to become as well an affiliate. Now, I will use one of the Google keyword research tools to make sure that I'm working on a keyword which is not only working to attract Pinterest traffic, but can also potentially get some good Google traffic. So I'll check the monthly keyword volume for work from home, and I'll go to Keyword Finder to see the suggested keywords. I know that the keyword difficulty is quite high, but for the work from home, but I will work with this keyword anyway, because I know that on Pinterest my domain authority doesn't matter as much as it matters on Google, and I will get Pinterest traffic anyway with this keyword. As long as the keyword is popular, as long as my pin is good looking pin, it's keyworded, etc., it doesn't matter how old is my site or whether I have a lot of backlinks, but all of this matters on Google. So I have to, if I take this keyword, I understand that it will be easy for me to get traffic from Pinterest, but what about Google traffic? Well, I'm writing a post for a popular keyword, And maybe in a year, or maybe in 2 years or later, my domain authority for Google will increase. And so by that time, this post will have better chances to rank in Google. Now, what I see from these keyword suggestions here is that the search phrase work from home jobs is actually more popular on Google, right? So it has higher keyword volume. I will make sure to use the word jobs in my post title as well. Now, I use a little additional trick here to check other related keywords Pinterest suggests. But in order to do this, I'll need to use a smartphone. You really need to get a habit of checking everything related to Pinterest on your mobile devices. That's because the majority of Pinterest users are coming from mobile devices, and they're not coming from desktop computers. Let's make a quick Google search on your smartphone. For the keyword, we were looking for work from home, but we need to show Google that we have an intent to find results from Pinterest. So what I will be looking for, I'll be looking for work from home, Pinterest. That's it. So the first results, if I insert the keyword this way, the first results will be from Pinterest. And here we're seeing the best pins which Pinterest wants to push to be shown in Google search results first. Now I will check the first group of pins, of images from Pinterest, and here we have an interesting option that we click on these dots underneath on the right side of the pin, and if you click here, you'll see additional keyword suggestions. So here you'll need to use your logic first of all and think which of these keyword suggestions really are appropriate for your post, because some of them will be very slightly related, but Pinterest can see that they appear in some pins together, so they will show them. But not in my pin. I don't need in my pin, for example, the keyword saving money for Christmas. Doesn't make sense to add this keyword to my post about work from home jobs. Alright, so you can get some additional ideas here if you click on the first 3 or 5 pins appearing in Google search results in a combination with the word Pinterest. And you can just write down the most relevant suggestions to use them in your pin description. Now let's apply the keywords we found to the pin itself, to the post title, and to the description of my post. So here is the pin, how it looks. We can see here where is the title of the pin, and that the main keyword is very close to the beginning of the title. You should always try to put it as close to the beginning of the title or of the description as close to the beginning as possible. This is your SEO title, which you defined in Yoast SEO plugin. Now let's take a look at your SEO description. It also comes from your post. And what do I have here? You can see that I used additional keywords such as make money at home, make money online, data entry, legitimate ways to make money online, side hustles, part-time jobs. All of these are related keywords. It's actually 7 additional keywords for which your pin can possibly rank on Pinterest because you included these keywords in your description. Then I also need to think about the pin description itself, right? That was the description which comes from your post. Now we're looking at your pin description. When you're saving the pin from your site, you will need to add a pin description. And you have 500 characters on this one, so you can include plenty of keywords. So let's take a look at what I've done here. I have keywords work from home, legitimate work from home data entry, and online surveys. So these are the keywords that are also related to the main keyword, plus I have 4 hashtags also with the relevant keywords included. Everywhere in all my descriptions looks pretty natural. It's not just a list of keywords as you can see. I believe that what makes it possible and easy to write it in a more natural way is the fact that I use so many additional keywords, so I don't have to repeat the main keyword work from home 7 times. I just replace it with similar keywords like these keywords as ways to make money, part-time jobs, side hustles. And now let's move to the text overlay of the pin. You can see here that I also include the same keyword, work from home jobs. And by the way, the image background, I use a woman working on a laptop, which is very well associated with work from home jobs, right? Let me go to the post now. I wanted to show you the image title because if you remember, Pinterest takes all these things into consideration as well. Alright, so I go to the admin to show you this image, the pin in my media library, and here you can see that the file's title has the keyword work from home in it as well. It's not just some random numbers, not some random letters, it's the keyword that I want to include in the image title. And then I also worked on the alt description of the image, which, as you can see, also starts from the same keyword, work from home, and then I get other keywords to earn extra money online, etc. And on the next step, I need to save this pin first to the most relevant board. It has to be my own board because this way I can get the credit for creating this new pin. Luckily, I even have a board with the exact keyword work from home in the title, so that's where I'm going to save this pin first. I will also save the pin URL to my Excel file where I have all the I call them original pins, because then I will need to repin this pin URL to all the relevant group boards, and I always try to repin this specific pin URL to help it grow the direct repin counts faster and to give this the original pin, the initial boost, which allows it to become viral. That's it. Now your pin is fully optimized and ready to generate Pinterest traffic. See you in the next videos.